Hey there, welcome to my mini course on weight loss, which details how I went on to lose 56 pounds in less than 3.5 months. It's also a mini course because we know you're smart enough to digest all the basic information you need under 30 minutes. There's no need for 80 modules or an 86-hour, 12-week course. This one is barely 30 minutes, so take a deep breath, relax, and stay with me, because this information can be a game changer for you. In the course of this video, I'll show you 3 things that I did to enable me shed weight in record time. But first, thank you for being here. You could have been anywhere else in the cyberspace, but you're here. And you know why? It's because this time you have decided to take control of your body and, like a potter, shape it into that which you've always wanted it to be. But first, a brief introduction. My name is Victor. I live in Ontario, Canada, and I've founded 2 creative agencies. I love studying history, deep sea and space exploration. I enjoy storytelling, and I love fancy cocktails. You know those great-looking cocktails you have to drink 8 rounds of to feel the alcohol? Yeah, those types. But anyway, that's it. Introduction's over. So, why did I make this mini course? Well, for close to a decade, I struggled with weight loss, going from one fitness program to another and trying out one diet plan after another. And boy, did I try everything, but nothing seemed to work. Nothing worked until I answered one of the most important questions that I believe was holding me back from achieving weight loss. As I embarked on my weight loss journey, I tested and tinkered with the right combination of activities that later produced outstanding results for me. So much so that I lost 56 pounds in less than 3.5 months. The more success I recorded with my weight loss, the more I wondered, why aren't there a lot of people going wild and preaching about this? Because I was like, whoa, this stuff works. I've lost so much weight in so little time, and I didn't need to hire a physical trainer. I didn't need to stop eating foods that I love, and I dislike unrealistic diet restrictions. I mean, life is too short already. But of all things I dislike, nothing comes close to strenuous workouts, so I didn't even go there, and neither should you. All you need is you and some commitment. Now, full disclaimer, always consult a professional. I'm not a certified weight loss expert, a physician, or a dietitian. I do none of that for a living. There are no upsells at the end of this video, no sign up for my weekly podcast or monthly weight loss membership class. I am here to serve you and show you what has worked for me, okay? This mini course is made up of 6 short sessions, but since I'm a foodie, I like to think of it as a 6-course meal. How brilliant. Let's go. Now let me give you a bit of a backstory for context. For several years, I struggled with my weight. And even though I wasn't what you would define as morbidly obese in today's world, I knew my body wasn't reflecting the true version of me. Not only that, but I also wasn't eating right, and I had an almost non-existent exercise routine. Over time, I started dealing with the real consequences of being overweight, such as high blood pressure and all manner of early warning heart issues, which shocked me at the time because I was just 34. I honestly thought heart problems and high blood pressure happened to much older people. I felt lethargic and heavy. I was 34 and weighed 235 pounds. Coupled with the stress of work, family, and living in one of the largest cities in the world, I had gotten to a point where I knew if I didn't take control of my health, I probably wouldn't live that long. So I took my doctor's advice to make some lifestyle adjustment, and chief among them was to lose weight. I had to alter my diet as well, but mostly shed weight. So for almost 10 years, I went through all manner of diet regimens, food plans, workout plans, blew through different fitness coaches, and I still wasn't losing any weight. But I lost all that weight last year within 3.5 months after I answered the all-important question, a question that I'm about to ask you too. And to be honest, it's the most bizarre question you have ever heard. Yet it's a question so important, it will reveal to you, just like it did to me, why you haven't been able to lose weight. Are you ready? Let's go. Right now, some of you, including my friends in the studio, are wondering 2 things. What is this so-called all-important question that's stopping me from losing weight? And 2, what the hell is a palate cleanser? I'll answer the latter first. You see, in between a 5, 6, or 8-course meal, you usually be served a course called a palate cleanser. A palate cleanser is simply a neutral flavored food or drink that allows you to rinse any food residue off your tongue so you can accurately gauge and enjoy the taste of the next course you're going to be served. I know, first world problems, right? Fortunately, the next thing is not. So, the all-important question is, why do you want to lose weight? Huh? Now, if you say that is perhaps the dumbest question I've ever heard, I will say, you're probably right. So I'll ask another way. Why do you want to lose weight? And if your answer is, duh, because I want to stay in shape, I'd say, fair enough. So let me ask you this. With all the tsunami of weight loss content, not to mention millions of hours of free workout videos available all over the internet at no cost to you, why haven't you been able to lose weight? I know this kind of question is hard to swallow, but I promise you, if you embrace it, it could equally be liberating. Because you see, until you find your why, you'd always struggle to lose weight, no matter how hard you try. Think about it. How many times have we seen people lose weight because they were jilted by a lover who was put off by their weight? I've seen parents whose why was as a result of not being able to play and spend quality outdoor time with their kids. And we can all relate to the most common weight loss why. You know, when our target is to get in shape in order to fit into a wedding dress, a bikini, or an outfit for some glamorous occasion with live cameras and red carpets. Jilted lover, family time, wedding bells, summer body, red carpet, whatever the reason, it does create a very strong why that leads to weight loss. The problem is, however, it's usually temporary. Now you might be thinking, geez, now I need to find my why before I lose all this weight. Well, initially, yes. And why is that? Because your why will be the fuel that will keep you going on the days you feel like giving up. And trust me, there will be many of those days. But the good news is, the moment you begin seeing the results and receiving compliments on your transformation, it would lead you to an even greater resolve, which could be you saying, I will never, ever go back to being that person I used to be. That chapter of my life is over. This is my lifestyle now. In my opinion, this part of the course is more important than the strategies of weight loss itself. Because without a clearly defined, emotionally charged why, you could pull the plug at the first instance of resistance. But for now, we do not want you to worry about coming up with a why, as you will find out that if you intend it, the universe has a funny way of attracting it to you. And how do I know? Well, here's a story about how I found my why. Remember earlier when I told you how I tried unsuccessfully to lose weight? Yes. I was struggling to get my weight in order, despite the consequences of high blood pressure, chest pain, dizziness, poor sleep, lack of energy, shortness of breath, you name it. Physically speaking, I knew I wasn't in a good shape. I knew my weight and poor eating habits were taking a toll on me. But all of that, plus my doctor's advice, wasn't enough to generate a strong why that would motivate me to lose my weight. I vividly remember a health scare episode late one night that was so chilling, I felt as if life was leaving me. And at that moment, I thought to myself, this is it. I'm going to die and leave a young family behind so early. How selfish, what a waste. I remember swearing to God that if I could make it to see daylight, I'd take my health more seriously. Needless to say, I made it through the night, and I will never forget what my wife said to me the next morning. She looked me dead in the eyes and said, Victor, we have 2 small children. I cannot do this alone. In other words, you need to take your health seriously. Those few words felt like 9 tons of bricks. That was about 7 years ago. Sadly, nothing changed. Nothing changed until about a year ago when I was producing and hosting a show called The Fact Show, where we highlight some of the craziest facts in history. One of the episodes we recorded for the show was about a soccer team called State Olympic. Now, State Olympic is the only soccer team in history to have conceded the most goals in a soccer match. They lost by 149 goals. And they scored against themselves. I know, right? Bananas. Anyways, the day came to produce the episode and my production team decided to dress me up as the State Olympics goalkeeper, in tight jerseys, gloves and all. According to these geniuses, This would create a better effect as I would narrate the story standing in front of a goalpost while trying to catch as many balls as possible. I didn't think much of it until a few weeks later when I was asked to preview the final cut before the episode was set to be aired. I couldn't believe what I was looking at. In that tight jersey, I looked like I caught all the balls and swallowed them. My initial shock turned to anger. Why would you do this to me? I protested. Why the hell would you suggest I wear tight jerseys in the first place? I was so furious, I demanded a re-edit from the editing team. But no matter what they did, I wasn't satisfied as I kept up with my antics. I cannot sign off on this. Can't you see how terrible I look? Stop showing that. Don't you have more footages of me without that getting into the way? I mean, it was terrible. I love Tupac, but if he could see me that day, he'd call me One Pac. And truth be told, they tried everything they could, but it wasn't the video that needed editing. It was me. I didn't want to be a fat host. A big suit or dress can cover up so much, but with all that stripped away, I hated how I looked. How did I let myself go? And getting mocked by my team was probably the fuel that I needed. They laughed at not only how funny I looked in that jersey, but more so on how I was trying to blame poor costuming and editing for the portrayal of my body. I was angry at myself. I decided I was going to do something about it. It was at that moment, in September 2022, at almost 235 pounds, I found my why. And if you say, oh, so the thought of losing your life due to health complications wasn't enough motivation for you to lose weight, I'd say, well, you're right. Maybe I'm vain. But guess what I'm not? Overweight and unhealthy. I am so full of energy. I feel alive. My blood pressure is back to normal. I feel so light and confident, from 235 pounds to 178 pounds in 3 months plus. All because I found my why. Now you might ask, so how do I find my why? Well, all I can say is it's a personal discovery. But for now, don't force it. Just intend it. Say to yourself, I found my why, and get out of the way. And with that out of the way, here's what I did. And it's a process so easy, you do not even need a why. You just need one day at a time. So, how did I shed all that weight at record speed? I did 3 things, but let's explore the first 2 for now. First, intermittent fasting, and 2, a basic workout routine. And when I say basic workout routine, I mean a workout routine so basic, you do not need a gym membership or a fitness coach. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with going to the gym or having a fitness coach. I have 2 gym memberships and I currently have a fitness coach helping me build a 6-pack. So none of you will see me on the street and call me One Pac, just to be clear. Now you might have heard about intermittent fasting, but probably have never met someone who could say to you, I've tried it, it's the real deal. Well, so what is intermittent fasting? Intermittent fasting is simply abstaining from eating for a couple more hours each day and eating within a certain window of time. That's it. The window of time you refrain from taking in more calories results in gradual weight loss over time. But when you add the magic sauce of exercise, within a few weeks, you'd see the gradual decline of the numbers on the scale. When I saw the effects of intermittent fasting on the scale, I became so excited, and the rewards even pushed me further. Not only is intermittent fasting your rock-solid ally in weight loss, but it has so many medical benefits backed by science and research. You can do some digging up yourself, but here are just a few. According to healthline.com, fasting improves your brain health. Fasting cleanses your digestive system. Promising evidence has shown that it may help prevent cancer. Fasting may delay or prevent the severity of Alzheimer's. Fasting removes waste materials in your cells. Fasting is so beneficial to the health of your heart, impacting positively on things such as blood pressure and blood sugar levels. Some even say fasting may delay aging, and these are just a few benefits. Now, your daily intermittent fasting cycle is divided into 2 simple parts called windows. The first window is called the fasting window, and this is the time you fast or abstain from food. The second is called the eating window, which represents the time you break your fast and eat. Your eating window might be as long as 10 hours per day, or like mine, as short as 4 to 6 hours. Then I added a third window to my fasting cycle, which I would call the exercise window. First things first, how long should you fast for? Well, you'd want to start easier, and that could be anywhere between fasting between 12 to 14 hours every day. I usually recommend the 16-hour fast model. And I know what you might be thinking. Hold up. You want me to fast for 16 hours? Are you serious? Now, this might sound like a lot, but the truth is, we are all fasting every day without knowing it. Fasting is defined as what? A period you abstain from food. So guess what? When you sleep for 6 to 8 hours every night, you're fasting. When you're so busy with work or other activities you enjoy that causes you to skip breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you're fasting. Can't you see that intermittent fasting is already part of your everyday life to a smaller extent? You're already a pro and don't even know it. You're so humble. And the sweet thing is that your fasting window also includes your sleeping hours, where hopefully you're not eating. So, when you break down the numbers, especially when you factor in your sleeping hours, you'd be surprised to find that in true sense, you're probably consciously fasting for maybe 4 to 6 hours. That's a trick I use in convincing myself when I first started anyway. Later, we'll go through some strongly recommended do's and don'ts of intermittent fasting. But for now, here's how my intermittent fasting cycle looked like when I started. And it's really simple. I always endeavor to have dinner before 6:30 p.m., sometimes earlier, sometimes later, but plus or minus 30 minutes. But for the sake of this mini course, let's just say my fasting clock begins at 7 p.m. After a healthy dinner at 7, my mouth is then sealed, zipped. Nothing, nada, except water or green tea goes in. Remember, I'm full. I don't expect to be hungry. Besides, bedtime is a few hours away. So between 7 p.m. and 1 a.m. is family time, catch up on some work, read a book, some vision boarding, plans for the next day. Then around 1 a.m., I set off to bed. 7 p.m. to 1 a.m., that's 6 hours banked. What's left? 10 hours. I usually wake up around 6 a.m., sometimes earlier, sometimes later. In any case, my sleep hours between 1 a.m. and 6 a.m. means that I got another 5 hours of fasting banked. What's left of our 16 hours fasting window? Just 5 hours. All I do here is skip breakfast and eat right before or afternoon. More like having a late breakfast or brunch. And that's it. I'm done for the day. 16-hour fast, done, dusted, and checkmark. From 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. is now my eating window. Wasn't that easy peasy? Now imagine you're not a breakfast kind of person like me, or you feel you could go longer and do lunch instead. You'd easily add 2 to 3 hours, and in this case, make it 18 hours living a fasted life. Suddenly it's not that difficult anymore, is it? Next, allow me to tell you about the magic mix that helps me lose weight even faster as I deepen my intermittent fasting practice. It's called exercise. No, not that. First things first, I thought I was the only one who abhors strenuous exercises. Turns out, a popular TV host shares the same disdain as I do. He credits his weight plan to intermittent fasting. The person is none other than Jimmy Kimmel. Search through the internet and you'll find so many other celebrities adopting intermittent fasting as part of their weight control program. In any case, I implemented a simple exercise routine, which when coupled with intermittent fasting, caused my weight to drop even faster. It's called brisk walking. That's it. Wait, what is brisk walking? Well, brisk walking in layman's term is taking fast walks. As a rule, for a person to be said to be brisk walking, they need to be walking at a speed between 4 to 4.5 miles per hour. About a week into my intermittent fasting schedule, I started wondering what exercise I could adopt. One that would be as natural and as painless as possible. So you might say I attracted this YouTube video about the world's record holder in race walking. And I was like, what? It's even a sport? Anyway, I did a little research into the benefits of brisk walking and I was blown away. So I decided to adopt it right away. I started taking 1 hour brisk walk at about 4.5 miles per hour, which is the same speed on the treadmill, by the way. A few days later, I built up endurance and moved it up to 1 hour 30 minutes. About a week later, I moved up to 2 hours brisk walk, and a great selection of music kept me going. I now prefer brisk walking early in the morning as I'm still full of energy, and besides, lunch is a few hours away, which makes it feel like a reward. However, find what works for you and stick to it. At first, I started out taking brisk walks in the evening, But I realized I was getting hungry easily as I'd burned so much energy. So I switched it up to what I was most comfortable with. And the results were, well, you can see for yourself. That's all I did, and that's all I continue to do. That's why I recommend you try it out. Start small, see what works, listen to your body, and adjust to what you're most comfortable with. You have everything you need. Brisk walk through your neighborhood, or consider buying a treadmill or using one in the gym. There's more though. A few days later, and isn't it amazing how things work when you've taken action? I read that if I incorporate a little piece of equipment called hand weights or dumbbells to my brisk walk, it will increase my burn rate. And I just went for it. And that's all I did, folks. Intermittent fasting, brisk walking with dumbbells, and results before and after. I lost 56 pounds in 3.5 months. Of course, brisk walking or intermittent fasting aren't new discoveries. People have been engaging in the same or similar activities for centuries. But I didn't know. So did quite a few people who reached out to me, some of whom were struggling with weight loss and who had lost hope and strangely had never heard about weight loss through intermittent fasting. Those who did never met someone who was a living proof. That's why I made this video. If this is something you'd love to do, just remember to start with baby steps. It's more important to be consistent than perfect. So do some research, consult a professional, make sure you get to work. Your body will thank you. In about 30 days, intermittent fasting could become a lifestyle for you, as it is for me. Today, I usually go between 18 to 20 hours every day. Some days my body's fine with 16 hours, and that's fine. And drink lots of water. It's of utmost importance to stay hydrated throughout the day. The U.S. National Academies of Sciences and Medicine has determined that the adequate daily fluid intake should be about 3.7 liters of fluid for men and 2.7 liters of fluid for women. Fluids include everything from water to beverages to your favorite latte, but drink enough water. So there you have it. This is how I made it happen, and in your way, that's how you'll make it happen. Now, who's up for some salads? In this chapter, I'd like to leave you with some very helpful tips to remember while you embark on this wonderful journey of weight loss through intermittent fasting. Number 1, don't break your fast with a feast. I know it's tempting to say, I fought hard, I fasted through the lonely night, I've paid my dues. Countrymen, let us feast. No. First, it is always advisable to break your fast slowly and lightly. Eating heavy meals right after fasting might send a shock to your system, causing more harm than good, with the possibility of nausea and bloating. You might even end up feeling lethargic and physically tired sooner. A great fast can make you feel light and energetic. Don't kill that vibe with an immediate feast. Remember, you have an eating window of up to 10 hours, so take it easy, or rather, break it easy. 2, avoid breaking your fast with foods heavy in carbohydrates. Carbs will cause you to feel hungry much faster. I promise you, it's true. Include a mix of protein-rich food. Foods rich in protein can keep you feeling full for longer. 3, try to limit your intake of fizzy drinks as much as possible. These sweetened drinks pack a punch in calories. For example, a 20-ounce soda contains 240 calories, which is equivalent of 30 minutes on the treadmill. Incorporate healthy alternatives into your fluid mix. 4, a balanced diet is your best friend. Remember that there are 7 main classes of nutrients the body requires daily to function at optimum. Again, drink lots of water. Aside from keeping you hydrated, water is a natural appetite suppressant. It processes the quick removal of waste, which is a significant part of your weight. More importantly, without water, your body will be unable to burn fat more efficiently. Next, portion control. I cannot stress how important this is. This is such an integral part of the new you. Eat just enough of what you need. Your body is the most complex, most intelligent machine ever built. It sends signals to your brain when it's had just enough of what you need. Remember, there are many ways to lose weight, such as regular exercise, intermittent fasting, and maintaining a healthy diet. But when you combine these 3 and portion control, the results can be pretty amazing. 7, I must admit, this one can be a bit tricky. Well, it was for me, but it's still a good one. Learn to differentiate between hunger and cravings. It's easy to mistake the two during intermittent fasting, but here's one key difference. Hunger shows symptoms such as stomach growling, dizziness, lack of the ability to focus, headaches, slight shakiness, or trembling, all of which disappears after you eat. Craving, on the other hand, is mostly directed at a particular kind of food, such as craving for chocolates, craving for a grilled cheese sandwich, or craving for a plantain cheek nachos with chili-infused chicken served with passion fruit martini. That was very detailed, wasn't it? In any case, you get the difference between hunger and cravings. And here's the beautiful thing. If what you crave is within your eating window, why not? If it isn't, then plan to do so the next day. Live a little. 8. This one was probably one of the leading factors to my weight gain. Avoid late night meals. Occasionally, yes, you may, especially if it's on social occasions, but avoid making it a habit. And while there's no accepted timestamp on when to have your last meal, it is generally agreed that any time before 7:30 p.m. is ideal. The most prevalent reason to avoid late night meals is your body's inability to burn food at a faster rate compared to the daytime when you're most in motion. By the way, this might sound crazy, but I have to say it. Do not weigh yourself every day. Yes, the scale is a useful instrument to measure progress, but don't make it a habit to climb the scale daily. It will drive you crazy. The best recommendations say to weigh yourself once a week. I do mine every 2 weeks. Also, keep in mind that your body weight fluctuates as the day goes by. What you weigh when you wake up will differ from what you weigh after you've had a glass of water or some breakfast. You'll also weigh less after you poo. So for consistency, weigh yourself once a week. Pick a day, say Sunday, weigh yourself first thing in the morning right after you poo. Make sure you don't have heavy clothes on as that adds to the scale. But please, ditch the scale for a while if it causes anxiety. But if you stay true to your program, you'll be less anxious. Most importantly, remember the scale doesn't tell you the whole story as it combines the weight of your entire body consisting of fat, your bones, your muscles, your organs, tissues, blood volume, etc. And sometimes you'll burn fat but gain muscles, and muscles weigh as much as fat. Your scale doesn't know the difference, but you should. If you've made it this far, know this. I believe you can achieve the weight loss you so desire, because if this guy can do it, so can you. And while this mini course is specifically tilted toward body fitness and weight loss, but if it's okay with you, I'd like to leave you with some soup for your soul. 1. Weight loss is a journey. And as it is with all journeys, it sometimes can feel long and arduous, sometimes downright tiring. So I would like to say this. Love yourself throughout this entire process. And what is love? A first-century writer defines love through some of its qualities. Love is patient, love is kind. So I guess what I'm trying to say is this. Be patient with yourself. Remember, the weight you're trying to lose wasn't gained overnight, but over a long period of time. The weight we gained over months, years, and for some of us, over decades, won't disappear in 30 days. Don't get discouraged. Be patient with yourself and trust the process. I achieved mine in 3.5 months, but you don't have to. Remember, everyone's body and metabolism are unique. Intermittent fasting is a lifestyle, not a 100-meter race. Love is kind. Be kind to yourself. While you have a body, remember, you are not your body. Be kind to yourself as you would to a 3-year-old. Be proud of who you're becoming, even if you haven't started seeing results. Find little reasons to celebrate your weight loss process. You can start by applauding yourself for taking the time to watch this resource. Write it down. I have a daily habit of writing 3 things I'm grateful for. Gratitude keeps you in a constant state of joy. Another quality of love doesn't keep records of wrong, but always hopes for the best. This one was especially beneficial for me on those rainy days. Quit taking mental notes of the weight you haven't lost and celebrate what you have achieved instead. Take it one day at a time. If you miss a day, start again tomorrow. It's no big deal. I didn't want to include this one, but for some reason, it kept coming back to me. So maybe this would be beneficial for someone. Quit comparing yourself with influencers and celebrities who shed all that pregnancy weight in 90 days. They are celebrities. That's what they do for a living. Be happy for them, but mind your own body. Stay on your lane. You got this. Finally, Remember I said there are 3 things I did that helped me in my weight loss journey? The first 2 being intermittent fasting and brisk walking. Well, we've come to the 3rd one. And I hate it when motivational speakers say, this is the most important information you'll ever hear, only to post another video the next day and say, this is the most important information you'll ever hear. So I won't make that mistake. What I would say is, this is probably the most important information you'll ever hear. And that is to visualize. Change the image of how you see yourself. If all you see is this overweight image of yourself, guess what you'll manifest? You're right, the exact image you hold in your mind. Change the image you hold in your mind. And how do you do that? Well, this is what I did, and you might find this helpful. Cut out an image of someone who has the body weight you desire. Impose a picture of your head over theirs, and stick that picture on your bathroom mirror. Make that part of your vision board. My vision board was Chris Rock. I looked at it every single day while still 235 pounds and working on myself. Every day I would look at it and say to myself, I am as slim as Chris Rock. I would hold that image and then go work on myself. I will never forget the day I walked into a Levi's store and said to the sales rep, I would like to buy a gift for someone. I'm not sure what size he wears, but this is the closest I can get. Then I pulled out my phone and showed her a picture of Chris Rock on a red carpet. It was a bit of a bizarre request, but she was kind and helpful. She immediately did something that never crossed my mind. She pulled out her phone and searched, how tall is Chris Rock? 5 feet 10 inches, by the way. Then she selected the closest fits and I bought 2 of those. You can't imagine how happy I was when I fit into those jeans a couple of months later. It was one of the best days of my life. Until this day, I still declare to myself, I am as slim as Chris Rock. My wife recently asked if I could change that statement to, I am as rich as Jeff Bezos. And with that, we've come to the end of this mini course. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please comment and let me know. And if it was more than helpful, then do someone else a favor and tell them about this video. Better yet, be the proof that intermittent fasting works. I would like to leave you one of my favorite quotes of all time by Martin Luther King Jr. Take the first step in faith. You do not have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. And if you're watching this, we are proud of you for taking that first step. And the words of Dr. Seuss, we say to you, you're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting. So get on your way. Bye for now.